Pesto is so easy to make, adds such a punch of flavor, and is best friends with pasta, potatoes, and rice. So today we're going to devote a whole episode to pesto because it is so versatile. You know the classic one starts with basil, but we're going to show you some others. Like my brown and wild rice bowl, tossed with broccoli pesto and wild mushrooms. My friend Giuseppe Fanelli is stopping by. He's the chef of my favorite neighborhood Italian restaurant, and he's making a traditional basil pesto with green beans and potatoes. It's an unbeatable combination. And I'll be answering your viewer questions about herbs on Ask Sara. Pesto is king today. I'm Sara Moulton. Welcome to Sara's Weeknight Meals. Funding provided by
Family-owned and Indiana-grown, Maple Leaf Farms is a proud sponsor of Sara's Weeknight Meals. Providing a variety of duck products for home kitchens, Maple Leaf Farms Duck helps inspire culinary adventures everywhere. Maple Leaf Farms.
Subaru builds vehicles like the versatile Subaru Forester, with symmetrical all-wheel drive and plenty of cargo room. A recipe made for whatever the day brings. Subaru, a proud sponsor of Sara's Weeknight Meals.
And thanks to the generous support of... So how was the train ride?
The train ride was quick. It was great.
Yeah? No
Yeah.
big deal?
No.
So, I mean, I was picking some basil, sort of pathetic. I can see that you
I brought some goodies
well,
in here.
I'll just add mine to your bunch, okay. We're gonna go up here. And
Great.
I put a pot of water on because I thought maybe we're making some pasta.
We're making a nice pasta dish.
Hi, I'm Sara Moulton. Welcome to Sara's Weeknight Meals. The husband and I are always happy to discover great little restaurants in our neighborhood in Manhattan. And right around the corner from us, we've come to love Tredice, a gem of a tiny little Italian restaurant with Chef Giuseppe Fanelli. And you're going to cook with me and show me some home-cooked dishes. What are we making today?
Today we're going to make pasta with pesto al genovese.
Ooh, I love
with potatoes
pesto.
and green beans.
We're putting potatoes and pasta in the same dish?
This is going to be a one-pot dinner. So we're going to put the potatoes, we're going to put the green beans all in one pot. When we pull it out, we're going to finish it with the pesto, and that's it.
All right. These are haricot vert, right? The little green beans.
So you're just going to either pick or cut the stem part off.
Okay.
And I'm just going to season the water with some kosher salt. First, you always want the water to be boiling because the salt is going to drop the heat down.
Okay.
So it would prolong the boiling time. But you want to salt the water just so that it gives the pasta flavor throughout.
Okay. So I'm snipping these off, and then do you want me to cut them into pieces?
Cut them into pieces, either halves or thirds, whichever.
Okay.
You don't want it to be bigger than the pasta. So the pasta is about an inch and a quarter.
I see. Okay, got it. Oh, that makes sense. And why are we using haricot vert, these thin guys, as opposed to the big ones?
Well, because they're thin, and the cooking time would go great with this pasta as opposed to the thicker ones that'll take longer to cook.
Okay, so everything has to be done at the same time because we're doing it all in one pot.
Yep.
Now, this is a classic recipe, isn't it?
This is a classic Genovese dish. They were the ones that introduced pesto to the modern world.
To the world.
Yes.
That was the best thing they ever did. Okay.
So I'm just gonna peel this one potato. I think this one potato should be good for this recipe.
And what kind are we using?
We're just using regular Idaho potatoes.
They're very high in starch, right?
They're very high, yes.
Why do we like a potato that's high in starch for this recipe?
Because they won't break down.
Oh, okay, good.
And they'll definitely maintain their bite, and they won't be soggy.
Okay, I like that. So your mom was a very good cook.
Phenomenal.
And she cooked every night.
Every night.
And you sat down for family dinner.
My father refused to go out to dinner.
Refused?
Refused.
Whoa.
There's no restaurant in the world that could serve better food than what your mother does.
Well, your mother. I'm not sure about everybody's mother. And on Sunday, I bet she made Sunday gravy.
Every Sunday at 12 o'clock, you have to sit on the table.
And what time did she get up and start cooking?
Usually around 6 in the morning. Yeah.
So this goes in,
Yep.
the pasta's in, did you stir it or anything?
I stirred it, yeah.
Okay.
We'll give another stir, then we'll put the top back on for it to...
Okay. So this goes how many minutes before we add the green beans? There we go.
I would do it like another 6 more minutes.
Okay. All right. So you want me to pick some basil here?
It's already pre-washed.
Okay. Oh, I love this smell. Yeah. This is like essence of summer, and I even like it in the middle of winter. It makes me happy.
My dad has a little secret stash in his garden where he keeps it covered. It's like his own little greenhouse that he keeps basil and parsley all year long.
Wow. But he shares, I assume.
It's only for us.
Oh,
no,
but
no
for
one
your
gets.
family. Yeah. No. Oh, wow.
So while you're doing that, I'm gonna grate some of this Parmesan cheese. And lastly, let's just give the, and also we have to put the pine nuts on.
Right.
So we're gonna put the heat on low because you want the pine nuts to cook evenly.
And you like the Italian ones?
Yes.
I'm not surprised. I feel like
That looks
I'm
great.
swimming in basil.
Well, that'll all disappear in
2 seconds. And then I need to mince. How much garlic do we need?
I would say about just 2 cloves.
2 cloves.
is
Okay,
great.
we don't want it to be too strong. I know that different pasta shapes have different uses in Italian cooking, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of sauce is gemelli usually used for?
It's good with tomato sauce. Because of the twists, it holds the...
It catches the sauce
it
is the
catches-
idea?
Yeah.
Okay, is this good enough? I mean, it's not
Yeah,
all
that's
that
great.
fine. Okay, so this goes in with all this basil.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I'm a happy camper. I wish my daughter was here. She lives for pesto. But you know, she's a
Right.
regular in your restaurant too.
She comes in all the
She
time.
comes into the bar
Right.
sometimes. Of course, she's old enough to come into the bar sometimes. Okay, and our pine nuts are toasting. Here goes the garlic.
I should have get your doohickey.
Oh,
That
it's
would've
in the
been
drawer,
great.
isn't it? Or did I take it away?
That would have been...
Are you calling it doohickey too? You learned that word from me. That's my Aunt Alice's word. When she doesn't know what it's called, she just calls
A
it
thingamabob?
doohickey. Yeah. All right, so we're just missing the pine nuts then. So you just want to get them a little golden. Could you do that in the oven too?
Yeah, it would be better if you do it in the oven, so you don't have to really think about it at a low temperature.
Right.
And just set the timer for 10 minutes or so and
Okay,
just
low
keep
temperature.
on.
Okay. Now, I didn't ask the obvious. We're toasting them because?
We're bringing out the oils and the flavor.
Okay, yeah, you should, that's a smell. Oh, I just love this with the basil and the pesto. Good. Yeah. How do you know when it's ready?
It'll say, I'm ready. Right now it's at a pace. When it starts loosening up, and then it's ready to come off.
Ready?
Yep, it's
Okay.
ready.
So it told you it was
It
ready?
said, we're done.
Okay.
We just gotta do
wow.
one more. We just have to, we didn't season it.
Oh, duh.
Okay.
So you add salt as well as the
Little
Parmesan.
salt.
It needs it.
Yep.
Do you want some pepper too?
And some pepper,
Okay.
and that's it.
You don't measure anything, do you?
No.
Never.
It's gonna taste good, I promise you.
Okay. I'm trusting. I'm trusting.
All right, one last. And that's it.
Should we taste it? Or do we need to move on to the pasta?
Go ahead, you taste it. Tell me what you think.
You're not going to taste it. You just know.
I just know.
You're just sure. Okay, we'll see. Oh my God. Wow.
It's simple.
There is just nothing better than when it's fresh made.
Absolutely.
Yikes. Okay. All right, so now we need to get this puppy organized. Do you want me to do something with the tomatoes while you're draining the pasta?
Yeah, I mean, any way you want to slice them,
You
cut
want it
them.
sliced or cut into quarters?
Quarters.
Yeah. These are beautiful tomatoes.
Those are, I think, a variety of heirlooms, they look like.
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna get my doohickey and bring these all down there. Oh my God.
So I'm just gonna take the pesto and I'm gonna dump it in the pasta. I
Are we gonna use all of it or just some of
think
it?
we use all of it.
I know, I get happier by the second. Oh boy.
I'm just gonna add a little bit more olive oil just so that the pasta and the potatoes don't stick. And then we're just gonna toss it.
You Italians eat a lot of olive oil.
Oh,
But look at your girlish figure. You're doing just fine.
it's hot in the kitchen.
Okay. You just sweated away, huh? All right, I'm gonna get us a fork. We gotta try this. How many people would this feed?
This will go between 4 and 6, depending on how hungry you are.
4 and 6, wow.
All right.
Oh, my God. That is one of the best things I've ever eaten.
simplicity at its best.
Oh my God, this is the best family meal. Okay, and how do we put the tomatoes on?
Tomatoes, we just throw them on top and...
Ready? Just do it?
Yep.
Whoop. This is rustic. This is my favorite kind of food. We made that in no time at all.
No time at all.
All right. Okay, pasta with pesto, string beans, and potatoes. A perfectly prepared one-pot meal. Thank you. I get many questions on my website, saramoulton.com, and I love answering them. So today we're going to answer a few on the show. I have the Holmes family from Trumbull, Connecticut right here via video chat. Let's say hi first. Hi. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
So I understand you have a question for me.
We do. We would love to learn more about planting our own herb garden, especially if we could plant one that would bloom and last all year.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, I understand you guys cook. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what do you like to make?
I love to make tacos with Mom because tacos are my favorite.
And you, Andrew?
I like to cook steak.
Wow. Very manly. All right, well, let me just share this tip with you about herbs, okay? Take a look. Herbs are so easy to grow inside, they just need light and water. Humidity keeps plants moist and succulent, so if you live in a place that's the air is very dry, here's what you do. Take a shallow tray, fill it with stones, and then cover the stones with water. And then just put the herbs right on top, and this will create the moist environment that they need. Now, don't mist your herbs because that encourages fungus disease. And do use a fertilizer ever so often, a natural one or even a fish-based one. All right, so what'd you think?
I loved it. Liked it.
I think it's great, and we can keep it right in our windowsill all year long.
Yeah, that's what's really nice about it. So you just wander over and take what you want, and that way you don't have to store the herbs and have them go bad because they'll just keep growing. Well, thank you. Very good question.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking to Brent from Dallas. Hey, Brent. How are you?
Hi, Sarah. I'm doing well. You?
Great. I understand you're a lawyer and you work at home?
Yeah. I have a home office, but work out of it most of the time.
That's great. You like to cook?
I do.
What kind of things do you make?
Well, love grilling steaks, cooking barbecue, cook some Tex-Mex food occasionally, and try to get into Cajun food, learning about it.
Tell me, what is your question?
Okay, well, whenever I cook, herbs are usually an afterthought, just kind of something I throw on at the end. I generally just kind of take a knife to them and chop them up. I was wondering if there's any special way or anything I could be doing to taste as good as possible.
Well, that's a good point because fresh herbs are a great garnish for meat. Like you grill a steak and you combine the herbs with oil and throw it on top. It just makes it really fresh and delicious. So I have a little information I'm going to share with you. Just watch this little clip.
Okay.
Here are a few tips about working with herbs. First of all, there's two main vague categories. One is the soft herbs with a soft stem, such as basil, parsley, cilantro, chives. What you do is you take the leaves and you line them up, you stack them like a deck of cards, and then you roll them up tightly like a cigar. And then with a very sharp knife, you just quickly slice them, trying to make your slices as thin as possible. If I just chopped away at this, any soft, big-leafed herb, it becomes bruised and wet and brown. Okay, now, for the woody herbs, like rosemary and thyme, you can just chop. How do you cook with these herbs? There are some foods that play so nicely with each one of them. Basil goes with any vegetable, especially tomatoes. Rosemary goes with chicken, lamb, pork, and vegetables like eggplant and peppers. Thyme tastes great with mushrooms, poultry, eggs, fish, and stews. Just about anything. Oregano is a classic ingredient in spaghetti sauce. It's also found in a lot of barbecue rubs for beef and chicken. Sage marries well with beans, pasta, poultry, and especially Thanksgiving turkey stuffing. So what'd you think? Was that a little helpful?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Herbs are so much fun to play with. It's a great thing to have in-house. Thank you for asking your question. That was a great question. And keep up the good cooking, and I hope you have more fun with herbs. Thanks, Brent.
Thank you.
Okay, on to my brown rice and wild rice bowl with broccoli pesto and wild mushrooms. I'm going to start with the wild rice, and what we're going to do is a ratio of 1 part of wild rice to 2 parts of brown rice, just as a nice mix. You can actually get the rice already as a blend, but if you don't find it that way, you can start with this ratio. I've got 1 3/4 cup of vegetable broth boiling, because this is going to be vegetarian. And so I'm going to get my wild rice going first because it takes just a little bit longer. So I'm going to give it about 5 minutes before I add the brown rice. Now, wild rice is actually not a grain, it's a grass. And it's native to the Great Lakes, both Canada and then Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And then let's get going with the broccoli pesto. Now, as you know, because we just did it with Giuseppe, the traditional one has all those wonderful Italian ingredients. We love it. But, we're going to take a few liberties and mix it up. So let me get the nut element first. We've got some toasted almonds. We put them in a 350 oven for about 7 minutes until they smell nice. Nuts will talk to you. When they're done, they're done. You can smell them. And we're going to go in here with these. And then we're going to add our broccoli. That's going to be our green element. And this is good because, broccoli is so nutritious. It's high in fiber. And this is a great way to use the whole thing. You start with 6 ounces. Ends up being about 2 cups. And that is all going to go in there. This adds a nice, robust flavor. And by the way, if you wanted to, this is regular broccoli. You could use broccoli rabe, which I just love. But it's got a slightly bitter taste. 2 scallions. There aren't usually onions in pesto, but we like the little bite that they give you. We want about 1/4 cup, so I'm going to go all the way down the green. Now this is something you could make on a weekend. We're only going to use half of the pesto, and then you can freeze the other half. Okay, just pause for half a second. We're going to add 2/3 of a cup of brown rice, so it's 2 to 1. Let me see if I can measure this a little better. And then we're going to put on our paper towel, which I like to do when I'm cooking rice, that sort of keeps all the moisture in. I'll give it 1 quick stir. Now brown rice is whole grain rice. The germ has not been removed, and it's nuttier, it's chewier, it's healthier. I just really like it. Okay. But you can mix up any rices for this dish. So now here we have 2 garlic cloves, and you just want to whack them. Now, cheese. I love Parmigiano Reggiano. Now, just a note about it. When you go to buy it, make sure you get it with the label on that says Parmigiano Reggiano. That's how you know you're getting the real McCoy. From Italy, that's been aged and raised properly. That's the only real Parmigiano Reggiano. Just a note about grating. If all you have is a 4-sided grater, you probably would use this side. If you grate it on this side, understand that it's not the same volume as when you grate it on a microplane, which is my preferred tool. Microplane just fluffs it up. So 1 ounce of cheese, and I need 2 ounces for this recipe, but 1 ounce of cheese grated on a microplane yields about a heaping 1/2 cup. In a 4-sided grater, it's more like slightly less than 1/3 cup. Same ounce, but different volume. So I no longer trust recipes that say 1/2 cup, 1/3 cup, 1/4 cup, because was it grated on a 4-sided grater or on a microplane? But see how light and fluffy it is? It's just a totally different texture. It's not as packed as the other grater. I think that's right. I'm going to put this in and then grate a tiny bit more because I want to save some for the top later on. Now, because we've got the cheese in there, I'm not going to add a lot of salt, just a tiny pinch and some pepper. And, because I'm obsessed with all things hot, I might also add some hot pepper flakes, but you don't have to do that. Now, let me get this started, and then I'm going to add our olive oil. Okay, we're going to add, and use the good stuff. This is one of those times you want to use the extra virgin olive oil, the stuff you spent money on. So about 5 tablespoons. Let's start with 5 and see what it looks like. You need enough in there to make the whole thing sort of become a nice puree. Okay, there we go. All right, and look at that beautiful color, huh? Okay, coming down, I'm going to talk about mushrooms. And we've got an assortment here. I'm going to just start working on them. These are shiitakes. These are oyster. These are cremini. Cremini are baby portobellos. When this grows up, it becomes a portobello. And these are a selection of inaki-daki, which are these fun little mushrooms. We need about 5 ounces. I'm going to keep them all. And these are exotic mushrooms, because most mushrooms these days are cultivated. There's not that many wild mushrooms. Look at that. Doesn't that look like the gang there? And these. And I'm going to save some of these for my garnish afterwards. So let me get my pan going while I slice the rest of these. And again, we're going with olive oil. Now, my favorite way to wash mushrooms is just to fill up a bowl of water, put them in, go womp, 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 and get them out. I find that's the quickest way to do it. When you're working with shiitakes, the stem on shiitakes is too tough to eat straight up. I wouldn't add it. It's just really, really tough. But save these to infuse stocks and soups. And what these mushrooms are going to do for the recipe is they are going to add a real depth of flavor, that umami, that 5th taste that you're really looking for, that makes you feel satisfied. I'm going to just slice them. You could cut them into pieces too. It's sort of up to you. Doesn't really matter. If they're sliced, they'll cook a little faster, but we're not in a rush. The rice, after all, takes 45 minutes. Now, you know what's interesting about rice? For half the world's population, it's a staple. And what's so great about it is it's so versatile. It's a great backdrop for dishes, and it also picks up the flavor. Just trimming off the bottom of the oyster. And what a nice assortment we have. Let me get my favorite thing. Into the pan. These only take a few minutes. Again, we're going to season them. Don't wait till the end. Okay, so what I'm looking for is the mushrooms are going to give off a lot of liquid. I want to get them a little bit brown around the edges. And then when that happens, we'll be good to go with the mushrooms. Meanwhile, the rice is going to take a little while longer. I've got my pesto down. I'm going to just go down and grate a little more cheese while these mushrooms cook. Okay, let's take a look. Ooh, that looks wonderful. See, it absorbs all of the liquid, most of the liquid. And we're just going to fluff it up. What a beautiful color with the combination. And my mushrooms look ready. So I'm just going to put the whole thing together. Let me take out a few cute little mushrooms for garnish. Let's take some of these inaki guys. And now I'm going to combine everything in here. So in goes the rice. We're only going to add about half of the pesto, because that's all we need. And then the rest freezes beautifully for a future dish. You can add it to pasta. You could just put it on top of a grilled item, on top of vegetables. You could add it to a soup. Just stir it in. Think how delicious that would be. Let me add my extra liquid. Okay. Pesto is really great for vegetarian dishes. Instead of always thinking about animal protein as being the base of a meal, start with a grain like rice as the base of your dish. I mean, certainly we all love risotto. We all love pasta dishes. Why not? Now, this is for 4 people. It's very hearty because the grains are very hearty, and so is the broccoli and the mushrooms. I see this as a main course with maybe a salad on the side, some crusty bread, and then you're good to go. There's dinner. Yum. All right, let me get my dish. And my little mushroom garnish. Okay, so I'm gonna head out and have my lunch. I hope I've convinced you that pesto is a great addition to any weeknight meal. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Sarah Moulton. I hope to see you next time for more of Sarah's Weeknight Meals. Sarah's Weeknight Meals continues online. For recipes, helpful tips, messages, and lots more, visit us on the web at sarahmoulton.com/weeknightmeals. And go to our YouTube channel, Sarah's Weeknight Meals TV. Funding provided by
Family owned and Indiana grown, Maple Leaf Farms is a proud sponsor of Sarah's Weeknight Meals. Providing a variety of duck products for home kitchens, Maple Leaf Farms Duck helps inspire culinary adventures everywhere. Maple Leaf Farms.
Subaru builds vehicles like the versatile Subaru Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive and plenty of cargo room. A recipe made for whatever the day brings. Subaru, a proud sponsor of Sarah's Weeknight Meals.
and thanks to the generous support of